Deep calls unto deep. For those of you that know who you are, that know that there is a deep place, a deep reservoir inside of you that is calling you deeper, deeper into the depths of your soul, the depths of spirit. And that depth is what makes you up. It's your very DNA, your spiritual DNA. It's a place that you come from. It's how you show up in the world, from that place of depth of spirit, the deep darkness. And it's so many treasures there. You've maybe had dark life experiences, things that have felt so dark and so painful. And you have come through those things, but not just made it through, but gotten the treasures from those places. And I mean the lessons from those places in your life. The deep is the position from which you want to come and where you want to live, right? I think of a plant or a tree, right? We see what's above the root. We see what's above the ground, but in order to enjoy the growth, the flourishing of a beautiful flower or a great big profound oak tree, there has to be an understanding that there is depth in the soil, in the dark place, the roots. You see, the roots under the ground are a replica of what we see above ground. And it's no different in your life. The depth to which you have gone in your life, the things that you have experienced, are an indicator of the height to which you are ascending. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I think it's really important for us to recognize that there has been so much growth both ways, and both are important. It's called differential growth, right? So we grow two ways, and we can always think of growth as growing upwards and ascending, but we also have to grow down, right? Because we are rooted deeply in spirit. We are one with spirit, right? And so I want to say to examine the depth of your growth in the deep places, in the deep places that seem dark and moist. That's where your roots are. That's where your spiritual roots are. That's where your genetic family roots are. Those things we have to examine. And those things help us to come to the knowledge of self by going deep. By going deep into the study of who we are internally. By searching out those places. By going in, examining our soul, looking at the things that look good and the things that don't look so good inside of us, right? And it's accepting of what is, right? And so deep calls unto deep. And you have to continue to go as deep as you can in order to get knowledge of self. Beyond the knowledge of your current physical self, but the knowledge of the antiquities of spirit and how that has been represented in your particular spiritual bloodline, in your particular physical bloodline, right? because knowledge of self, knowledge of spiritual self gives you the foundation on which to build your life, right? In a previous video, I discussed about how we have to really fully embody our divine spirit or divine essence and bring that forward in the earth, right? But if your expression is limited by how deep you are willing to go, then you see that externally represented in your life, right? So again, it is important that you know who you are and you assess and examine the depths to which you have been willing to study who you are, how far you have been, how far back you have gone in your family, because I assure you there are some things that you need to see, some things that have and some gifts that have not been put to use because they need to be reactivated, right? There are some things you have to go back and get. I always think about Sankofa, the African symbol of the bird that's going back to get those things that were important to us, going back to get the knowledge that made us, going back to get our ancestral memory, going back to recover all that has been taken offline and bringing that forward, right? So again, I want you to think about how deep you are willing to go and how deep spirit is calling you, because truly that's really what it is. How far back are you being pulled? Because that will give you an indicator too of what you currently see in your life in terms of the things you have been able to create for yourself and accomplish, or those things that are sustainable. Something that's as foundational as sustainable joy. Do you have sustainable joy? If not, how do you tap back into that joy and sustain it? Because that true joy is of the spirit. It's not on anything that we can externally do or create, right? So how do you get back to grasping that joy that's rooted in the truth of who you are and bringing that forward in a sustainable way, right? How do we bring our authenticity forward if we really have not searched out who we truly are? Because we come into the world already given a particular culture, given subcultures, given expectations. We come in with family histories and family lineage, right? So we already come into a pre-prepared space to kind of shape our identity, right? But that is only a part of it, right? The true work is to recognize who we are in this experience, meaning what we have brought to this experience, to the environment in which we incarnated. Like, what are we meant to bring here from the depths of spirit, from the depths of who we are, from antiquities? So I just really want you to think about the depth to which you are being called, because you know it's in your spirit. You can't deny it. You can't, this is not something that you are able to separate from, right? So examine the depths of how far you've gone and what treasures you can pull from that place. And what are you being asked to bring forward?